He said, don't look at God, look at the mountain. We spend our time in prayer trying to convince God that He should, when in fact it is prayer that God is trying to convince us that He will. We spend our time trying to convince God why He needs to. God is trying to convince us why He wants to. Real prayer is not convincing God. Real prayer is when you are convinced and you push through. Praying does not happen because a man asks once. Praying happens when you lay hold on the answer and you look at the problem and say, mountain, move. Impossibility, leave. Door, open. Now I can already tell right now, there's so many of us that have been programmed wrongly. We spend our time in prayer operating in ways that men in the Bible did not operate. Elijah did not operate on top of Mount Carmel off of a hope or a potential. He walked on the Mount Carmel in front of 450 prophets of Baal, looked up to God and said, now Lord, there ain't no need me trying to convince you that you can. You've already shown me at a widow's house and down by the brook that you can. You did not bring me here to prove that you can. You brought me here to prove that you will. God does not allow elementary problems in your life that you've seen unfold, unfurl, and be answered. He didn't bring those to you, but for any other reason than to show you He can, so that when you get to the mountain before you, you don't have to look up and figure out if He can. You look at the mountain and say, be thou removed. You look at the lack of pregnancy, the lack of money, the lack of harmony, the lack of peace, and say, you don't belong here, be thou removed. Mountain, move. It shall be done. Why isn't mountain moving? There's 3 reasons Jesus will tell you in this passage. Number 1, the first reason that He says the mountain will not move is when doubt stops it. He says, whosoever looks at the mountain and says, mountain, move, and does not doubt in his heart, it'll happen. What happens? You look at the problem, you look at the issue, you look at the thing, you look at the person, and all of a sudden you forget the lesson that the God that was is still that same God. Problems don't prove God. Problems prove us. You see, God doesn't send your problem to you that He sends to me. Let me help you with something. These youngins down here ain't got near an idea what real camp's like. Am I right about it? I'm talking real camp. I'm talking the kind of camp where they ain't no air conditioners. I'm talking about the kind of camp where they serve cat food and they put salt and pepper on it. Talk to me now. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about real camp. Let me help you with something. One time, I went to this camp. And I ain't going to tell you where it was at, but it was in the hills of North Carolina. And this camp had this slide that was made out of concrete that they would stick water on and called it a water slide. It was a concrete bridge that they slanted down is what it was. And let me tell you something. When you put your blessed assurance on that concrete slide, you would be saying, this is my story, this is my song. I got on that water slide one time, and I don't know if they didn't pay the water bill. I don't know if they were trying to conserve money. I don't have any idea. There was a trickle of water coming out of that thing. And I thought, this ain't going to end well. I put myself on that concrete thing they called a water slide with a little trickle of water coming out, and I began the trek downhill. You ain't never felt blessings until you feel your hide get ripped up off your backside, and you get down and you think, no. You know, I got halfway down and got off. Climbed up off. And I got down to the bottom. There was a line of people waiting on me. There was a line right behind me. And I thought, I want to see what idiot is going to try what just happened. I want to see this. And let me tell you something. There was an old boy come up there behind me. He was a beluga. They ain't no other way to put that, buddy. He was a whopper. And I thought in my head, they ain't no way on God's green earth you making it down that slide. And about that time, you know what they realized? They kinked the hose. There was a kink in the hose. And I don't know what they did, but they unkinked the hose. And the water started going. Son, I'm telling you, Shamu just about shot off the end of that slide. I ain't never in my life seen nothing like it. We went down the same slide, and he had more against him getting down than I did. There was one difference: water. There was enough between him and the mess that kept him from getting scraped up. What is that water? It's the faith that comes when God gives you a verse and you're reading that book. So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the... Here's what happens. You get in that book and you're walking through hell backwards, and the devil's got you bent over, beating your brains out, and you're reading down through there, and all of a sudden you look at a verse that says, when you're dealing with the mountain, whosoever shall say to the mountain, be thou removed. Honey, you feel that Holy Ghost touring, turn on in your heart and say, you know what? That mountain can move. That person can be saved. That situation can turn around. That thing can be done. And you began to say, Lord, let the faith flow. Let the water flow. Let the help flow. Let heaven come down. And you look, because doubt has left, and say, mountain, move. Oh, because faith showed up. Brothers and sisters, doubt is nothing more than removing your eyes from God.